What's up guys, Trubs here, and today I'm gonna be going over the most painful Smash Bros. Moves. So I got inspired from this video from a YouTuber that also did the most painful Smash Bros. Moves, but he only did 50, and he allowed all moves from any characters. So what I'm gonna do is name one move from each character, and the only moves that are allowed are their specials. So for Mario, his special is, of course, his fireball, his cape, his power-up punch, and then the flood. So for Mario, out of his 4 moves, I decided that the cape wouldn't really do much because it just turns you around. It might hurt, but eh. And I also decided that water, I know it's pressured water, but it's not going to do much. So then that came down to his up B and his fireball. And I decided that his fireball is the most painful because 1, he is setting you on fire and burning you alive. But 2, he can do it so fast that you really don't get a chance to recover. And they bounce around and can fall, so yeah. On to the next character. I have a whole list. This is probably going to be a pretty long video. So the next character is... This video is probably going to take a while. I will say that now. So Donkey Kong's moves, his neutral B, he can charge a punch up. He has his side B. His down B. And then his up B in the air, and his up B on the ground. So while all of his moves would be painful, I immediately was able to eliminate this one, his down B, just because it's like he's causing an earthquake. It might be a powerful earthquake, but there's nothing around you to hurt you, so his down B doesn't really count. So then it was down to this, where he literally buries you in the ground. But other than that, besides him slamming you into the ground hard enough, so I eliminated that one. So then it came down to his charging punch. Oh my god. And his up B on his up B, which I can't really get for some reason. There we go. And I decided his up B because it would be a lot more painful to get hit with multiple punches than one really hard punch. So I'm saying his up B is the most painful one. On to the next character. Our next character is... Link was also fairly easy, not super duper mega easy. So I immediately eliminated his side B because it's just a boomerang. It might hurt to get hit, but eh. So that leaves his neutral B, his up B, and his down B. And I also decided to get rid of his neutral B because while an arrow to the body would certainly hurt, it would hurt a lot less than getting completely sliced up or freaking blown up. I decided the bomb because it's a freaking bomb. And as you will see, that most of these characters that have bombs, most of the time I pick their bombs, so... Because I honestly would rather get a slice to the body than blown up. So, on to the next character. Our next character is Samus. I'm just gonna group Dark Samus and Samus together. Almost all the echoes have the same thing. So, this is Samus and Dark Samus. So out of their moves, they have a charging plasma shot, a rocket that follows you, a little bomb, and then an up B that just seems like you would get hit by the ball. So I got rid of this one because that would just Like, compared to all of her other moves, So then it really... Because I also decided to get rid of this, because this bomb is so small that it just lights you on fire. It would hurt, but not as much as getting hit by a bomb that follows you, or a giant plasma ball. But in the end, I decided the giant plasma ball is going to hurt the most. So, the giant plasma ball for Samus and Dark Samus. Our next character is Yoshi. And Yoshi was also fairly easy to get rid of. I got rid of his up B because he just throws an egg breaks. Whatever, doesn't hurt that much. I got rid of his side B because he's also just rolling around in an egg. Doesn't really do much to you. So it really came down to his neutral B and his down B. And I decided, because you can tell by his neutral B, the egg generally fits the character that's inside. It might feel weird going through his body and coming out of the egg and stuff, but in the end, I don't think it would be that painful. So his down B would definitely hurt the most. On to the next character. Our next character is Kirby. I also forgot to say that the video that I got inspired by will be in the description. So make sure you check that out if for the original content. So for Kirby's moves, she has, I guess Kirby's a he, has his neutral B, which can give you their ability. But generally what happens is, it's not. After so long, the character just plops out eventually, I guess. I don't know. I don't think it would be that painful because most of the time he can fit the character in his mouth. Yeah, there we go. So then we were really just down to his up B, his side B, which starts a freaking fire hammer, and his down B. So, as getting hit by a very heavy object coming down would hurt, I eliminated it down to the fire hammer or the sword. And while getting hit by a giant hammer would hurt, just imagine this happening to your body. And he can spam it pretty quickly. I'm not going to explain anything else because I would probably get the video taken down if I explained what happened or what's happening. But that Kirby's up B is definitely his most painful. On to our next character, which is Fox. So, Fox, I immediately eliminated his reflector, because yes, it might do a little bit of damage, it just looks like you get shocked, and other than that, So then we were down to this, and his up B, and his neutral B. I got rid of his side B, because he's just going towards you really fast. This also applies for Falco. I know Falco isn't a direct, what is it called? A direct clone Echo Fighter, but he's pretty darn close. So then I'm left with his blaster and his fire thing, his up B, and I chose his up B because you are literally getting toasted in fire, and then he does a giant blast and goes up. While this blaster might hurt, it doesn't do any significant damage or knockback to the player, so I think his up B would be the most painful. And that also goes for Falco. On to our next fighter, which is Pikachu. And Pikachu, I was automatically able to eliminate his up B because this is mainly for Pikachu. While you might get shocked, it's not going to be that painful. So then that left me down to his side B, his neutral B, and his down B. Out of all of those, I had to get rid of his neutral B because out of all of his electric attacks, this one looks the least painful and does the least. So now it's down to a full electric As we can see, it's not really an electric headbutt. It's just a headbutt, which would hurt. But compared to freaking summoning lightning and getting hit, then this also goes for Pichu as well. So Pikachu and Pichu's down B are both the most painful. Our next fighter is Luigi. And you probably already know where this is going. A headbutt would hurt, but doesn't do that much. The flames are just added effect. A real headbutt would not have flames. Then we have his up B, which is the same as Mario's, or just does one. It's generally less painful than Mario's. Then we have his down B, which this would hurt, but it looks like he's just slapping you a lot. So I also again decided to go with his fireball. It looks more like a poison ball, but I think his fireball would be the most painful in this scenario. So on to our next character. Oh my god. I hate this. Alright. Let's get rid of an obvious one. This would not hurt because this absorbs moves. So then we're down to PK Fire, whatever this is, and then his up B. And I had to get rid of his up B because compared to this attack, his up B just doesn't do that much. So then we're left with everybody's favorite attack. And then this one. And while that one might be just like a huge big attack, PK Fire, you can just sit there and spam and roast your opponents. You can just... And then when you're done, just take a bat to them and they're dead. So... Ness is most painful. This is Ness and Lucas because they're both pretty close. Their most painful attacks are their PK Fires. Our next character is Captain Falcon. And while all of his moves would be painful, I think we can all agree that his most painful move would be... Because his other moves, he just does a sliding punch up, which would hurt, but it doesn't look that powerful. That would also hurt, but also doesn't look that powerful. And his up B is... He does grab onto you if you get hit, but I think we all know that would be his most painful one. Let's kill him with it. It kills at 80. That's crazy. Like, plus all the fire afterwards for any of his attacks. Ugh. Okay. So this one was kind of hard. Because her specials are very unique. Immediately got rid of her up special. She just puts you to sleep. Being put to sleep is actually pretty nice. So then I had a really hard time judging her down B. But in reality, she's just falling asleep right next to you, so it really wouldn't hurt. So then we're down to her side B, which she can easily chain. I was about to say, I just killed myself. And her neutral B, which is a charging rolling attack. And I think a puffball that is rolling really fast at you is going to be more painful than a slap from it. So I decided that Jigglypuff's neutral B is her most painful attack. Plus it kills. I was like, why is he not quitting? Alright, on to our next character, which is Peach. And this goes for Peach and Daisy. I was automatically able to get rid of a few, or almost all of them. Her up B... while pulling an umbrella out on you would hurt. That is implausible. The umbrella would collapse on itself. Getting a turnip thrown at you wouldn't really hurt that much. And this one only works if Toad is hit and he just throws up on you, which is gross. So her most painful one would be her side B, because taking a shot from the behind that she puts that much power in, that would definitely hurt. And that also goes for Daisy. Alright, our next character is Bowser. Bowser was also a pretty difficult one to figure out. Just because all of his moves would be painful. Two of them I was pretty easily able to get rid of just because of his up B and his neutral B. And that would be his down B. Yes, it would hurt if he hit you and landed on you. And probably squish you, but if he doesn't, it's just like an earthquake. And then this one would also hurt a lot, but compared to literally being burned alive or being just shredded, I had to get rid of his side B. And then I chose just getting shredded because those spikes are very, very sharp. And just compared to being burned alive, you would just get shredded. Alright, on to the next character, which is Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers was also pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but a lot simpler than Bowser. Could immediately get rid of their up B that does really nothing. So then that left their side B, which hits you with a bunch of hammers. Their neutral B, which throws 2 icicle thingies at you. And then their down B, which freezes you. I got rid of the hammers. Or, no, not the hammers. This. Because this is just getting ice thrown at you. It doesn't really do much. So then it was between you getting frozen or getting hit by a bunch of hammers. And I chose getting frozen. Because if you are frozen alive, I can imagine that is extremely painful. So, yeah, getting frozen alive for Ice Climbers. On to our next character, which is Chic. Chic was also a little difficult to figure out. I got rid of her up B, because yes, the initial explosion may hurt. Other than that, it doesn't really do anything. Then she has her neutral B, which just charges like a string of sorts. Doesn't really do much. So then it was down to her down B, but after playing around with their down B, I noticed that it doesn't really hit that often. Even here, you see that I'm not really hitting it. So I had to get rid of it, and even if it does, it's just a down kick, which people have been hit by before. So I chose her being able to just spawn fire wherever. Not really spawning fire wherever, but just getting... It's like a fire black hole. You get pulled into fire, so that would obviously hurt. On to our next character, which is Zelda. Zelda, I was able to get rid of her neutral B, because while this may hurt, it's just a crystal going around her. And her up B, because while it really doesn't do that much that often, if you do hit it, it would hurt. But most of the time, she's just hitting you with her hands. So it wouldn't really do that much to you. So then it was down to her down B, where she literally gets an armored thing to hit you with a giant sword, or being able to spawn fire wherever. And I chose being able to spawn fire wherever, just because of like Sheik's. It's like a black hole that drags you into fire. It would burn you alive. On to our next character, which is Dr. Mario. So I was able to easily get rid of the cape since we already did that with Mario. His pills, because he's just throwing giant-sized medicine at you, so it won't really hurt that much. So we were down to his up B, which does not do the same as Mario's, I do not think. No, it does not. And then his down B, and I had to choose his down B, because unlike Mario, where you get hit a bunch of times with his up B, you only get hit once, and this move, you get hit multiple times. So I chose Dr. Mario's down B for his most painful move. We did Pichu, his down B. We did Falco, Falco's up B. So now we're on to Marth and Lucina, because they are both echoes. All of his moves would be painful. I was able to get rid of his counter, because unless you hit him, it doesn't do anything. His up B only hits you once, so it doesn't do that much. So I was down to freaking stabbing you or getting hit a bunch of times with the sword, and I had to choose getting hit a bunch of times. Getting hit once would hurt, but getting hit just over and over again would be a lot more painful than just getting hit once. So Marth's and Lucina's side B are both their most painful moves. I believe this also goes for Roy, but we'll have to see. Toon Link and Young Link both have the bombs, like I said with Link. So Ganondorf, since he's a semi-Captain Falcon clone, his neutral B would be his most painful. So on to Mewtwo. So I was able to get rid of one move pretty quickly. That was his up B. He just teleports, doesn't do anything else. It's the move that Pokemon have to get out of battle, so it doesn't really do much. So then he's down to 3 moves, which is his charging Shadow Ball, whatever this is, and then his down B. I got rid of this because it just flips you around a bunch of times. It might make you dizzy, but other than that, it doesn't do much. So out of his neutral B and his down B, I chose his down B because if you hit it, it instantly knocks the person out. So, in my opinion, that's a lot better than a Shadow Ball hitting you, being able to instantly knock somebody out. Roy was also his side B, like I said. There's fire, so it's obviously going to be more painful. On to Crom. So, out of all of Crom's moves, I got rid of his down B first, because it's just the counter. His neutral B was also pretty easy to hit, because most of the time that sword never hits you, and it just causes like an earthquake. So then I was down to his side B, where you get hit a bunch, or his up B, where he literally hits you with the sword so hard you fly in the air, and then he juggles you with the sword and smashes you in the ground with the sword. So I had to choose his up B, because it would definitely hurt the most out of all of his moves. Like, dang. On to the next character, which is Mr. Game & Watch. I really hope the blurriness fixes itself. Yep. Okay, so with Mr. Game & Watch, I was able to get rid of the bucket, because it's just a bucket. I know it throws goop on you, but then again, that's just goop. His up B, because it's just a parachute. So then we're left with him throwing food at you and the hammer. And I had to choose the hammer just because the hammer has different effects depending on what number you get. And that can be very, very... Like, getting hit by a hammer can hurt, and this looks like a regular-sized hammer. But having all of these extra effects, like... Well, this one giving me food, but... The static effect, freezing them, fire, instantly killing them... Like, it was just a lot more painful than a bunch of hot food hitting you. On to our next character, which is Meta Knight. And I will say it now, all of Meta Knight's moves would hurt. He's spinning you around with a sword. I really didn't get rid of his moves in any order. I really just decided that... So that one wouldn't really hurt because that's just getting hit by his wing. So I was able to get rid of his neutral B. But other than that, it was really just what I think would be most painful. And I think it would be his side B just because he can decide where to go with you with it. And he's spinning around and can like drill you into the ground or drill you up. His up B only hits you at least twice. And his neutral B, while it would be painful, it's only one strike of the sword, unlike multiple strikes, so his side B would be the most painful in my opinion. On to our next character, which is Pit and Dark Pit. So I was able to get rid of his down B because it's just a shield, and his up B because he just flies. So that left us with his arrows and whatever this is. And I decided that his side B would be the most painful. One, because it does a lot of damage. But two, if you look at the knockback, it freaking sends you flying. And yes, an arrow would hurt, but compared to getting smacked in the face by that, that would definitely hurt the most. And side B for Pit and Dark Pit. Our next character is Zero Suit Samus. So Zero Suit Samus was a little difficult to do, but I automatically got rid of all of her fighting type moves. So her up B and her down B. Half the time you don't hit your down B like Chic. But when you do, it doesn't really look like it's going to do that much. And it does bury you, but she's just hopping on you. So that left her with her neutral B and her side B. And I decided her neutral B because it literally paralyzes you for a few seconds. Might not do anything else, but it gives her enough time to charge something up. So getting paralyzed and then getting hit by something else would definitely hurt. On to our next character, which is Wario. Wario, he was fun to do. I automatically got rid of his down B because it's just a fart. It might be stinky, but it's not really gonna hurt you. So then I was left with his up B, his neutral B, and then his side B. I got rid of his up B because his neutral B, you are literally eating them alive. And his side B, you are getting ran over by a motorcycle. So I had to choose his side B to be his most painful. Because while getting bit definitely might hurt, his getting ran over by a motorcycle that can wheelie and land on you whenever he wants would definitely hurt a lot more than getting bit. Our next character is Snake. I'm going to say now all of Snake's would hurt. All of Snake's would probably kill you. I was able to get rid of his up B just because it's a drone that carries him. So then we were left with his down B, which plants a mine. But if you're careful, you never will really get hit by these mines. Plus, the explosion really isn't too big for the mine. I mean, maybe, but I don't think it would do that much. So then that left me with his bomb that he throws and then his side B. And I think his side B would be the most painful because it is a missile, first of all, that can go forever. But second of all, it can follow you and it is like really, really painful. So, because it's a missile. So, Snake's side B would be his most painful move. Our next character is Ike, and it's the same as Chrom. His up B because he throws you up in the air with a sword, and comes down and slams you with it. The next 3 is Pokemon Trainer. I did 1 for each of the Pokemon. So with Squirtle, I was able to get rid of his up B because he's just riding on water, and his neutral B because he just hits you with water. All of their down Bs are automatically eliminated because it just switches the Pokemon that you are. So Squirtle's was a very obvious side B because he hits you with his shell. Ivysaur's most painful move was also pretty easy to figure out. His up B is just vines, doesn't do anything to you. His side B, he throws a leaf at you, but other than that, it's just a leaf. So I had to choose his neutral B, where he literally shoots a bunch of seeds at you and keeps you hovering in the air with seeds. And then Charizard, I think most people would have chosen his side B, and while, yes, that would hurt, I ultimately chose his neutral B just because he is literally burning you alive. His up B, he's just hitting you with his wings. It wouldn't hurt that much. So out of all of those moves, I chose his neutral B to be the most painful. On to the next character, which is Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong was pretty fun, but a little difficult to do. So I got rid of his peanut gun, because while a peanut flying at you at high speeds would hurt, it wouldn't really do that much to you. I then got rid of his down B, because he just throws a banana. It doesn't do much. So then we were down to his side B, where he literally jumps on top of you and smacks you, or you just miss it. Or his up B, and I had to choose his up B just because it's a rocket. 1, because it hurts, but 2, if you do it the right way, you can get the barrels to detach from him, and then they just fly around, which is 2 rockets just flying around. So I had to choose his up B as being the most painful. Our next character is Lucas, and we already said Lucas's side B would be his most painful. Sonic, I just said yes. All of his moves are the same. Getting hit by them would all hurt equally. So I really put yes on my script. It's not a script. It's a paper I wrote out, but I literally just wrote yes. So King DDD, we have his neutral B, which I don't think it would hurt. 1, he's a big guy and it looks like he can fit you in there. 2, he just spits you out as a star and then you're fine. So I got rid of his neutral B. So then I was down to his side B, his down B, and his up B. I got rid of his up B because this guy is so fat and so squishy that if he lands under you, you are probably going to be fine. And if he lands around you, it's just going to be like an earthquake. So then we were down to 2 more moves, which was his side B and his down B. And I ultimately decided on his side B just because it's pretty spammy and he is shooting a giant spiky ball at you. So I said King DDD side B would be his most painful. Our next character is Omar, and if you want to include O or Alf or however you pronounce it, you may. So pretty much, he was pretty easy to do. It's a whistle. Doesn't do anything. He pulls Pikmins out of the ground. Doesn't do anything to you. And then he flies with Pikmins. Doesn't do anything. So obviously his side B is the most painful. 1, because you get a bunch of Pikmin on you. But 2, they are literally either hitting you with fire, water, electric, or if you have different ones, draining the nutrition out of you. They are just sucking you dead. So his side B would easily be his most painful one. Our next character is Lucario. Lucario, it was also pretty easy to quickly get rid of 2. That would be his down B, because it's just a counter, doesn't do anything unless you hit him. And his up B, which is all for him. So then it was down to his side B and his neutral B. And I decided on his neutral B pretty much for the same reason as Zero Suit Samus, because it's an aura sphere hitting you. And while this might hurt, it's just a quick thing that pushes you out. While this is a giant ball hitting you face first, especially once he gets his Aurora going. So I chose Lucario's neutral B for his most painful move. So in this, I would assume that Rob is like an 80, 100-pound robot, not some plastic toy. He was a little difficult to do. I was able to get rid of his up B just because it doesn't do anything. So then I was left with his down B, his side B, and his neutral B. I got rid of his down B just because it's a spinner that it might be spiky, but the thing is so small it would just tear your legs up. So then it was down to his side B and his neutral B, and I got rid of his neutral B just because the laser would hurt, but getting hit by robot arms a bunch of times and then one big blow would hurt a lot more than a laser that just hits you once. On to our next character, which is Toon Link, and like I said, same thing with the bombs. So now we are on to Wolf, and I chose the same up B for the same reasons. He kicks you, has this weird dark energy, so his up B would be his most painful. On to Villager. So I was able to get rid of his up B just because it's him with balloons, his neutral B because he just pockets something. So we were left with his side B where he rides an explosive rocket and his down B where he grows a tree. I chose his down B because one, if you get hit by this growing tree, it does a lot. But two, if you're not trying to hit the tree, he runs around with an axe and slices you with it. So in my opinion, that would easily be the most painful. Our next character is Mega Man. Mega Man was pretty easy to do. I was able to get rid of his up B just because he spawns a dog, and his down B because these are just leaves. Leaves don't hurt you. So I was left with his side B and his neutral B. And while his side B would hurt, if you can give it to somebody else, you're fine. So I chose his down B just because, one, you can kind of choose where it goes, pick it up, and have it ready for later. But two, it is a freaking razor just hitting you. So it was easy to choose his side B. Or his neutral B, my bad. Our next character is Wii Fit Trainer. So so I got rid of this one just because she heals herself, and this one because getting hit with hula hoops would not hurt that much. Then I got that one because she says salute the sun, so I'm assuming she is like a ball of heat, and getting hit by heat doesn't hurt, it just kind of surprises you. So I had to choose getting hit with the soccer ball just because I've gotten hit with it before, and I know how painful it is, especially if you get hit in the face. And I don't know how fast she's kicking these things, but if you get hit with anything above like 50 miles an hour with a soccer ball, which I have, it hurts a lot. So I had to choose Wii Fit's Trainer's side B for her most painful move. Rosalina and Luma was also pretty easy to do. Her side B just hits you with, like, it's just star stuff. Like her down B is just attracting things to her, so, and then her up B doesn't do anything to anybody else. So I had to choose her neutral B, one, just because she charges the Luma like crazy, but two, if that Luma is close enough to you, it can fight for her. So Rosalina's neutral B is her most painful. So for Little Mac, I was able to get rid of his down B just because it's a, what is it called? A counter. So then I was left with his side B, his neutral B, and his up B. I got rid of his side B because it's just one punch and it's not that powerful. So then I was left with his side B, which is pretty much a crazy Falcon punch, and his up B, which does hit you multiple times, but it doesn't look super powerful, and it's just sparks from his fist. He's not punching you a bunch of different times. He's just spinning around with his fist. So I chose Little Mac's neutral B for his most powerful attack. Greninja was also pretty fun to do just because he kind of has a funny concept. It's kind of obvious which one's his most painful. I was able to get rid of his down B just because it's a counter. Same thing with his up B because it's just water. And then same thing with the side B. While it might be compressed water, it's just water. It won't hurt you that much. So I had to choose his side B where he literally disappears and then comes out of the shadows and hits you, which I think is one of the coolest moves in Smash Bros. So Greninja's side B is his most painful move. Next up is Palutena. I was able to get rid of her down B just because it's a counter, and her up B just because she teleports. So that was left with her neutral B where she just shoots you with 3 quick lasers, and her side B where she literally just creates fire out of anywhere. So I chose her side B because she just magically generates fire, and again, it's probably burning you alive. Pac-Man was a little more difficult. I was stuck between 2 of his moves. I got rid of his up B just because he spawns a trampoline. Doesn't do anything. I got rid of his neutral B just because he throws a variation of things at you. None of them really look like they hurt. So then we were left with the side B where he eats you once. Yeah, and then his down B. And I had to choose his down B just because if he hits you with that water hydrant, it will just imagine a fire hydrant falling on you. But then 2, that water can be very helpful to push you into Pac-Man's other moves. So I had to choose Pac-Man's down B for his most painful move. Our next character is Robin. Robin was pretty difficult because all of his stuff was magic. I got rid of his side B just because I know it's fire and it will hurt you, but it's not a very big fire and it's pretty slow moving, so you would be able to react to it. I got rid of his up B just because these little thingies don't look like they would be too painful. They don't do too much, so I got rid of them. So we were left with his down B where he literally sucks the life out of you, or his neutral B. And I had to choose his neutral B because he randomly, or not randomly, but he charges up electric attacks that he can change. And depending on what he wants, he can change how fast, slow, powerful, all of that. So I had to choose his neutral B. So on to Shulk. Shulk was also a little easier. I was able to get rid of 2 of his moves pretty easily. His neutral B, he just chooses a thing to get better at. And his down B, which is just a counter, so doesn't do anything unless you hit him. So then I was at his side B and his up B. And I had to choose his up B just because his side B, it only hits you once. His up B, it hits you twice. So I had to go with his up B for his most painful move. On to our next character, which is Bowser Jr. One of them I was able to get rid of with some reasoning. I got rid of his cannonball, one, because it's really slow moving, and if it's that slow moving, it probably will not do that much damage to you. I also got rid of his down B because these are very slow and you can just jump over them. So then it was just his up B and his side B, and I chose his side B because he is literally driving a giant mecha car at you, runs you over. While his up B may hurt because of the explosion, I think getting ran over would hurt a lot more than an explosion from a leftover Koopa car. Duck Hunt was also pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but pretty quick to slim down. His side B was an immediate no, because it's just a frisbee. Same thing with his up B, it doesn't do anything. So then I was left with his explosive can and his down B. And I had to choose his down B because he literally summons somebody to shoot you. All I have to say. He summons a human to shoot you. This is for Ryu and Ken, because they are both echoes of each other, or I guess Ken is the echo of Ryu. I got rid of his neutral B just because we don't really know what this is, and it's so slow moving that it will do absolutely nothing. You can just duck. I then got rid of his up B because it's just a one punch deal. Doesn't charge it up, none of that. So then I was stuck between his side B where he hits you once with his foot, or his down B. And I chose his down B where he literally charges up a punch, makes you like not even paralyzed, like he makes you just fall. Like that's how weak he makes you. And then he can come with another attack. So that was Ryu and Ken wore their down B. Cloud was also pretty easy. I'm not keeping in mind his limit, but because of that, his down B doesn't do anything. I then got rid of his neutral B because this is just, if anything, this is him like picking up gravel and stuff from the ground or something like that. It wouldn't really do that much. So then I was stuck between his up B and his side B. And I had to choose the side B just because he slashes you a bunch and makes this sign. And when that sign is made, it does even more damage to you. So while his up B would hurt, most of the time you can miss it. So, my bad. Alright, our next character is Corinne. So Corinne, I was able to rule out her down B because it's just a counter. Don't do anything unless you hit her or him. So then it was his neutral B, his up B, which I got rid of because it just spawns a bunch of water. And if you do get hit, you're just getting hit by like his wings. So then it was down to his neutral B and his side B. And I had to choose his side B because he literally pins you into the ground and then comes after you with a kick. If I can get it. Yep. Pins you into the ground and then comes after you with a kick. Getting pinned to the ground by a super sharp sword and then kicked would be extremely painful. I hate Bayonetta so much. Alright, so I got rid of her down B because it's just her doing a flip. Yep, you might be slowed down, but it's just her doing a flip. I then got rid of... I need to think. I got rid of her side B just because it's a lower kick, nothing else. It just might kick you off your feet. So then it was down to her up B, which can be changed, but just her up B doesn't do anything. Or her neutral B. And I had to choose her neutral B just because they're freaking guns compared to a kick. Also, that was like one of the first times I did a ladder combo with Bayonetta. Now on Inkling. So our first Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character. I did tell you this video would be long. I didn't think it would be this long, so that's my bad. But I got rid of her neutral B just because she's hitting you with ink, doesn't do anything else. And then I got rid of her up B just because she jumps up, and that's about it. So then I was left with her neutral B and her down B. And yes, her down B is a bomb, but it's an ink bomb. So I had to choose her down B because she freaking rolls you over with her roller, shoves you in the ground, and then comes back and hits you. So I said Inkling's side B was her most painful. All I'm going to say is check the description. There is a video that is linked in the description. It will explain everything. So Simon and Richter are both the same since they're echoes. So I got rid of their up B just because he punches you a bunch and everything else is sharp. I also got rid of his down B just because this bottle doesn't really do much, and the only reason it would light up if there was a little TNT thing in it, which then it would just be a little explosion, which wouldn't do much to you compared to his axes. So there has to be gasoline on the floor or something of the sort, so it wouldn't really do much. So then I was stuck between his side B and his up B, and I had to choose his side B, one, because it comes back to you, but two, because generally his up B tends to go right over you. And I feel like if you were on the receiving end of it, you would be able to figure out how to dodge it before it actually hit you. But besides his side B, which throws, I don't even know what that is, thing at you. And that's for Simon and Richter. Our next character is King K. Rool. So with King K. Rool, I got rid of his down B just because it's a counter, doesn't do anything unless you do something to him. I then got rid of his up B because, one, the likability or probability of you getting hit by that tiny propeller is very small. And in real world physics, if you got hit by that propeller, it is so small, you would probably end up denting the propeller and hurting King K. Rool other than yourself. So his last moves were his side B and his neutral B. And I had to choose his neutral B because his side B, he just throws his crown as like a boomerang. It wouldn't really hurt if it hit you. This one is a cannon, and while it is pretty slow, it does come back and he shoots another one, and then he can suck you up and then like shoot you out. I feel like it would be a lot more painful than any of his other special moves. On to Isabel. Isabel, I also was able to get down pretty quickly. Got rid of her neutral B because it wouldn't do anything. Got rid of her up B because it wouldn't do anything. So then I was down to her down B and her side B. And I had to choose her side B because, one, if you've ever been pinned by a fishing hook, it really hurts. But two, most of the time that rocket you never land on. And even if you do, the explosion doesn't do very much. And it's pretty easy to see, so you would be able to see it and you would be able to avoid it. Her fishing rod, she can pull out whenever and is very annoying and spamming. And if she has enough strength to grab you by this fishing rod, pull you back, and throw you back out, I think it would hurt a lot more than a mine that she creates. Okay, so for Incineroar, I got rid of his down B because it's just a taunt, or not a taunt, a counter. And then I got rid of his up B because yes, there is flames and stuff, but I feel like in the real world, this would just be like somebody crashing into you if you're at a trampoline park and they lost balance. So then I was down between his neutral B and his side B. And I had to choose his side B because one, he grabs you, throws you against a wrestling ring, and then throws you up into the air. Besides his neutral B, he just hits you once. It looks like you should get hit multiple times, but he just hits you once, and it wouldn't do that much. So I had to choose Incineroar's side B for his most painful move. On to DLC. And I will say I did not do the Mii characters just because they can have different moves. The Mii characters, it really just depends on what moves you chose. So with Piranha Plant, I had to get rid of his up B because he's using his leaves and his leaves wouldn't do anything to you. So then that left me with his neutral B, which is like King DDD's, and his down B. I got rid of his down B just because, yes, it would hurt, but it's just a quick chomp. So then I was down to his neutral B and his side B, and I had to choose his side B because one, he can charge it up, but two, when he does it, it's like a poison. It would hurt you and suck the nutrients out of you. So I had to say Piranha Plant side B would be his most painful move. So Joker, I got rid of his up B because this wouldn't really hurt, and when he has his persona, he flies. And this is a charging thing. When he has his persona, it's a counter, so it wouldn't really hurt. So then I was down between his neutral B and his side B, and I had to choose his side B because one, it's like fire, it would be burning you alive, but then it has like a poison effect and keeps doing damage to you for quite a while too. And when he has his persona, it's a lot more powerful and does a lot more damage. His gun, yes, it's a gun, but half the time the players are too short. And he shoots it pretty slowly, so you would probably be able to react, to be honest. I do not like Hero. He is annoying. So with Hero, I got rid of his up B just because he makes these little wind tornadoes, which wouldn't really do much. I then had to choose between his side B, which I got rid of just because it's really doesn't go that far. And if Hero's willing to get struck by lightning with the sword, it must not hurt that much. So then I had his neutral B and his down Bs, but I had to choose his down B just because he has so many different moves. Some of them will help him be stronger, some of them will kill you instantly. So I had to choose his down B because there's so many different variations of what could happen. So for Banjo-Kazooie, I got rid of his up B because he just jumps off of a platform. I then got rid of his neutral B because it just looks like he's throwing up balls. These balls could easily be caught and thrown back. So then I was left between his side B and his down B. And while his down B isn't very realistic, getting hit by a bomb would definitely hurt the most. This one, he's just running into you. So I had to choose his bomb. Plus it bounces, so harder to predict. Over Terry, I got rid of his neutral B just because, like, if you were this far, you would be able to react to it. I got rid of his down B because most of the time you were going to jump over the person, and even if you do get hit, it's not going to be that painful. So then I was stuck between his up B and his side B, and I had to choose his up B just because he pretty much flies at you with a fire fist. While his up B would hurt, I think his side B would hurt more just because there's fire with it too. So I had to choose Terry's side B for his most painful move. Byleth was pretty difficult because all of his / her moves would hurt. I got rid of his neutral B because it's just a bow compared to his other stuff. A bow would hurt, but I had to get rid of it. I also got rid of his up B because it's just a whip. Whips do hurt, but compared to his side B and his neutral and his down B, it would not hurt that much. So then I had his up B, which would hurt, but I feel like a good healthy human could take an attack like this. His down B, if you get hit with that face on, like that, you're screwed. So I chose Byleth's down B for his / hers most powerful move. Min Min was also pretty difficult because of her, how she works. I got rid of her down B because, she's just changing her arm. I got rid of her up B because she just uses an arm to grab. So that left her B and her side B. And I had to choose her side B because she actually charges up the arm besides just like a single strike. Like with all of her arms, like a single strike and then like charged up, So with all of her arms, a charged up side B would hurt more than just a B. So Min Min's side B would be her most painful. Steve was also very fun to do. So Steve, I got rid of all of his Bs because 1, he's just mining. 2, he crafts, and 3, he places blocks. Nothing super cool in particular. Next, I got rid of his up B because this is mainly for him. Doesn't really do anything. So then it was between his side B and his down B. And I had to choose his side B because 1, his side B is moving and he can jump out and carry you in it. And getting hit with a train would kill you. And with this TNT, it's stationary and takes quite a long time to blow up. So I chose Steve's side B. Sephiroth was kind of hard because he's a freaking god. So I think out of all of his moves, his neutral B would be his most painful because he creates a black hole pretty much. I know his side B would be painful, but you could probably get out of that if you can hide somewhere and it's just a little explosion. I then got rid his up B. I know he would be slicing you, but getting sucked into an explosive black hole would be a lot worse. And then his down B is just a counter. And I don't know what that really is, but it does not look as painful as him spawning a freaking black hole that can explode. 4 more characters. We're almost there, guys. Or no, 3, because Pyra and Mithra have... Yeah, I did 1 for both of them. So, their down Bs are automatically out because it's just switching between the two. So then I was left between her neutral B, her side B, and her up B, maybe, and her up B. And I had to choose her side B. Her neutral B, you can literally see her charging, and you can get away before it hits you. Her side B, I had to choose because she freaking throws her sword at you, and it just spins around and does a bunch of damage to you. And while that's happening, she can come up and get ready to combo you once her sword's done. Now on to Mithra. I got rid of her up B just because it doesn't really look like it would, like, it would hurt, but it doesn't really look like it would hurt compared to her other two moves. And then, same reason, I got rid of Pyra's neutral B, because you could literally see her charging it. Oh, that's nice. So oh my god. Okay, nope. So I chose Mithra side B as well, because she slices you a bunch. And a lot of the time she goes invisible and you can't see her. So I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going to say him. He was pretty hard to do. Ultimate, I was able to get rid of his up B just because he jumps up and fly. His neutral B I got rid of because most of the time the characters are shorter than where this laser hits, and I'm pretty sure you can't. Oh, you can't angle it. Still, I feel like the laser is so slow, and that most of the time you can duck or jump over it. So then I was stuck between his side B, where he literally paralyzes you for a few seconds, or his down B. But I had to choose his down B because he picks you up and shoves you into the ground, and then you go in the opposite direction. And our last character to end off this video. I did not think this video would be this long, but if you watched all the way through here, thank you for watching. So, out of Sora, I was able to get rid of his down B because it's a counter. So then I was really stuck between his up B and his side B. I got rid of his up B just because getting hit by, and his side B, because getting hit by a key, yes, it would hurt, but compared to getting burned alive, thunder coming from the sky, and frozen alive, I think those three would be his most painful. So I had to choose Sora's neutral special. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Both videos that I talked about will be in the description. And yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!